Hi, this video is a video to further explain about my ideas about stopping thinking, stopping thoughts to occur. And I will expand on some of the points and go in more detail about how one can, me as schizophrenic, am able to literally stop the noise, stop the pain, stop the disturbance from within my mind, from within my body, from within my head, of thoughts, thinking, backshots, voice in the head, projections, hallucinations, imaginary, fantasy, all these things that the mind, our own personal matrix, our mind, our box, our own personal matrix that we are, that is a part of us, have been for a long time been subduing us, making us into organic robots, making us into slaves of the metaphysics, making us into slaves of personalities, of polarities, of consciousness, and not of real life. So, a thought as it is today is a tiny destruction of self. It is a tiny destruction of one's muscle tissue, of one's body. A tiny fraction of one's physical muscle tissue of the human being is destroyed and separated, drawn into separation, cut out of the body, is destroyed. And if you reckon that an ordinary person have about 40 or 50 or 60 or 70,000 thoughts during a day, this tearing down is what we refer to as aging, becoming old and tired and weary and drained. So as we go through our living, we think a lot and we project a lot, and we have thoughts that are painful, that are disturbing, that are bothersome, that are draining. They are draining our juices out. They are making us old and weary and burdened and need more and more to be pushed into polarities, to extremes, to energy addiction, into the fictional, not into the real substance life. So thoughts as it is a tiny destruction, separation of self, of the muscle tissue, of the human body. So that in mind, and the content of all this during the day, during the week, during the month and years is having a draining, weary, troublesome, sickening experience on the human. So what I've done with my schizophrenia is that I've been walking first to identify what are my common thoughts, what are my thoughts. First I would sort out my thinking. This thought of thinking comes from this personality, this kind of thing comes from this dimension, and to map out and to get an overview of what within me is governing these or those thoughts. Because if I'm going to stop the thoughts, I must stop the programs behind and that is aligned with the thinking, the consciousness, the personalities. and so on. If I am to stop my thinking, I must understand where my thinking comes from, how it occurs, how it is started, what is driving it, what are the polarities, the personalities, the consciousness, the imagination, the programs, the projection, the energies. I must understand this if I'm going to be able to stop thoughts from draining my life juice. So this is what we at Destiny.org have been working with for a decade, and this is what we have been doing, basically stopping our thoughts and sharing, exposing what we find in stopping our thoughts, learning to become real, physical, substance, self-honest, responsible human beings. So, for me, I've been saying sentences and words to myself like, stop reacting, I am here as breath. Stop reacting, I am here as breath. Stop reacting, I am here as breath. And I would breathe, and I would rely on my breath to shortcut and to stop my thinking. I would rely on my breath to stop my thoughts from carrying me away into whatever, ideas, conspiracies, whatever. I would stop my thinking by breathing. So, but also there have been some programs and personalities that have been very hardwired with very multifaceted programming and energy constructs and so on that have been alive within me that I have having to deal with. To be able to stop my thinking, I have had to remove and delete and forgive and understand and change and forgive and change some mind constructs within me, some very hardwired, complicated, you might say, mind constructs within my mind that I have been having to forgive and understand and realize how to change from those particular mind constructs, those programs, to stop it and change it by forgiving it. And from walking now I think I've walked 4 rather large mind constructs. Destiny.org will explain to you how mind constructs and self-forgiveness operates. Stopping these mind constructs and learning, understanding what the fuck it is, and forgiving it and stopping it so that I can better govern myself from myself, so I can better stop my thinking, stop my conscious, stop my imagination from living in a fling, whatever non-real world, a fictional world, into physical substance, real life. So, what I've been saying is, stop reacting, I'm here as breath. I will close my eyes and say, stop reacting, I'm here as breath. And find words that work for you to stop the thinking, to stop the voice in the head, the hallucinations, the backshots. Most of us need to walk a process of self-forgiveness. A process of forgiving the self is inevitable. A process of forgiving self is inevitable. So, more and more people are seeing that thoughts and thinking is making my life more complicated and chaotic and bothersome and draining, straining. More and more people are seeing this, that thoughts as they are, awareness and physical awareness is something else. But the conscious, polarity, personality, thinking, backshots, voice in the head, and all that, sickness is sickness. So, yeah, this is me trying to explain again some more about what thoughts are, how to stop thoughts. I mean, awareness and physical awareness, self-honesty, physical awareness, and awareness is something else. Living words, physical awareness, communication, awareness of self is something else. But the thoughts, the projection, the pictures and fantasies, the backshots, the voice in the head have been keeping us slave to imagination and polarity for ages. So this is me letting you know how it's possible to break the spell of self, break one's own matrix. I have done it, so can you. Thank you and enjoy.